Hello, Drawing 2. I wanted to show you how to do a 2-point perspective shadow. This isn't something that we're going to be doing for our final drawing, but I think it's something that you should know. I think it's good information. I want you to be aware of it, and I want you to try it out. I want you to practice it. First off, I need to make my horizon line. I'm going to use pencil this time, and I'll put in my vanishing points. And I want to draw a box just like normal. So here, I'll tell you what, I'm going to make one. I'm going to make a smaller box this time. And I'm also not going to worry about the hidden lines that I've been having you draw. It's not necessary for what we're doing right now. And of course you can always erase your lines. And just got to figure out how big I want this box to be. Seems about right. And then we want to connect up these other points here. That one's a little bit off. Let me redraw that. Okay. And this one. Alright. And then let me go ahead and outline my box so it's nice and clear to you. Get these lines a little bolder. Make them stand out. Ooh, hard for me to see with the shadow. There we go. And up here. And just a few more here. And our last one. Okay, yeah, I don't like that. Let me come in just a little bit. I'll redraw this one too, just to clean up that edge a little. That's better. Okay. Now, something that's very different than what you've done before, and we kind of simulated this when I was playing around in our first tutorial where I'm just showing you boxes and I was having you kind of add your own shadows. Those weren't really in perspective. So if you're going to do it in perspective, you need to add a light source. And I'll go ahead and title that, you know, because we haven't really talked about that before. And then we need to add a line that goes from your light source down to the horizon. You want that to be perpendicular to your horizon. And we're going to have another point right here. Now, this is where it gets a little bit complicated. I'm going to change colors just to make it a little bit more understandable. This, and this corner, you're going to connect up with the light source. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep extending those lines down. We'll figure out our shadow from those. And then I have this one. And I have this one. And if you have different color pens or color pencils, you might want to do the same thing. So again, from the light source to these three corners here. Next, and I'm going to switch colors on you again. Let's go purple. That's fun. Now, from the horizon line, because we got to get our positioning, we're going to draw lines to the bottom 3 corners. So from here to here, whoop, gotta hold that straight. And from here to here. And from here to here. Just like that. Okay, now, wow, that's pretty crazy, right? So what you're looking for is you're looking for the intersection of these 2 points. So I take my green from this corner to my purple from this corner, and that is where they intersect. I take my green that was hitting that corner, which extended out to here, and then my purple comes out to here. Those connect. And then I have one more point here. From the top to that point, and then from the bottom to this point where they intersect. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect those. And I'll do that with my Sharpie. We'll make it nice and bold. And here. And here. Oop. Then I have one more, which is right there. Okay, that's our shadow from this light source. I will go ahead and shade this to make it really apparent. I know this is a little confusing. It's going to take a little bit of practice. And like I said, I'm not going to have you do this in your final drawing, but I want you to experience it. I want you to practice with it a little bit so that you have an understanding of it. Because there's a logic behind the way that shadows are drawn in perspective. And when you're making your own shadows, let's say you make them up for your drawing, if you want, then you have a context for which to do that. You understand how perspective works, and you'll know what to draw in order to make sense of it. It's about understanding the logic behind perspective. Oh boy. Yep, it's looking good. I'll tell you what. Let's go a little further with it. Since my light source is here behind the subject, this would be a bit darker of a panel. And then this one would be just a bit lighter. And of course, the top of the box would be the lightest. Well, there you go. Let's try another one. So let's go ahead and make another box. I'm going to do it on this side this time. I might make it a little bit smaller. You have so many lines, you really kind of need to make some of these a little bit smaller. And that's okay for your own drawings too, just so I can see what you were doing. And then we'll make it a narrow box like this. Yeah. There we go. And then we'll finish this up. Okay, now let's make that bold. Drop my pen. Let's make that bolder so you can really see it. few more. Okay, that completes my little box. I kind of messed up that a little bit, but that's alright. Now, same thing. It's a little confusing, but you're going to go to these three corners now, because we're on this side of the light source. And I'm going to extend those lines down. And this one might be a little funny, because we're so close to that intersection of the light source and the horizon. And then one more. And now I'll switch to my purple pen again. And again, so these bottom three now. And we're going to go here and get this lined up here and here. Okay. And I kind of stopped where they met, but those are the intersections. So let's make those bolder. Here and here. Here and here. And then I'll go ahead and darken this so it becomes really clear. And just like before, I'm going to do the same thing where I'll make this a bit closer together because the sun's behind it. And then this one will be a little more spread out. Well, there you go. And you can play around with this. You can experiment with different placements of these boxes. It's pretty interesting. Like I said, I'm not looking for you to necessarily do this in our final drawing. I'm going to have you start brainstorming soon as to like what kind of environment that you're going to build in perspective. But I feel like this is something that's good to know. You know, good for you to know, something I want you to have some understanding of, some experience with. It's definitely handy in helping you understand the logic of shadows. And, you know, like when I think of myself personally, this is not really how I draw. I do a lot with perspective, and I've learned a lot from doing activities like this. I've learned a lot from doing raw, you know, like perspective drawings like this with all the measuring and the lines and the formulas. And it influenced the way that I draw more naturally. And so I draw in perspective, and I'm aware of perspective logic when I'm doing my drawings more from my imagination. And so that's really why we want you to do things like this, so that you understand the logic behind it. Hope that was helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful day.